Okay, we're recording.
Welcome to the January 5th, 2023 MSCD City Board meeting, and we will start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And we will start with the public input statement. The first public input session is a 21-minute session with each person having no longer than 3 minutes in which to make a statement. But a second public input session may be held at the end of the meeting if allowed by the board chair. The speaker will give his or her name, address, and reason for speaking. Public input is designated for district residents, but the board chair may grant non-residents the opportunity to address the board. Statements concerning subject matter that falls under the law regarding executive session, for example, matters involving personnel, cannot be made during public input. We as a community pledge to treat each other as we wish to be treated. We pledge to seek understanding when there may be disagreement. Regardless of outcomes or opinions, we pledge to move forward with respect. And we will now have public input, but it appears to be that there's no one
And we
to
have
give
no.
any input. So we will move on to the minutes of December 15th. Did everyone have a chance to look it over? Did anyone?
So I wasn't there, but I noticed that they say December 1st on them.
The what?
Okay, I'll fix that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, the top.
Well, on the top and the first paragraph.
Got it. That's the right one.
What's funny is the
Little five right up there.
Yeah, it should have the correct date, because these are the correct minutes. They're just, what happens is I copy from week to week, and then not remember it. I don't change those first two. Thanks. Not the problem.
And if we're all set with the minutes, we will look to Echo for the student report.
We have to vote on them.
Oh, sorry.
I make a motion, we accept the minutes of December 15th as
I'll second it.
All in favor? Now the student report from Echo.
Well, I can't believe that this first semester is almost over. And that being said, it's starting to be a stressful time for students because the fastly approaching finals studying has begun. Also, the final for our Noble Nose quiz competition is scheduled for next Tuesday, and we have a prize bin for the winning team as well as participation awards for all the participating teams. And the outing club had a very successful hike up Mount Moosilauke on New Year's Day, which was filled with laughter, frozen hair, and snow. That is kind of rare right now. And that's it.
Thank you. On to strategic planning.
I can, okay. So for the strategic planning on January 28th, in the newsletter today, the link went out for basically we're asking people to fill out a Google Doc form to put their name in to be considered as a representative. I'm also sending out a particular email tonight that goes to a group of people. I kind of gathered some recommendations from our administrative team as well. So those are going to go out specifically. Again, ask them to fill out the form, but because my hope is we'll have a good broad representation, but I want to make sure that we can get we need to probably just check all of our boxes to make sure we have folks from all areas of the community, business.
Balanced.
Yes, very balanced. Yeah. Those that are, well, we always want support, but we also need people to be, thoughtful about just the tax base and all of the things that go with that. So I have it going out to all of our elected officials, as well as town managers, all of the safety folks that are in town and then businesses and that type of things too. So we're putting it out to everybody and asking them to go ahead and forward it off to other people too. If they're interested, send it off to other people who might be interested in being considered. I guess I'll put it that way. I'm not trying, the bottom line is that we can't probably do more than like 60 people. So I gotta really make sure that it's a balance. I mean, theoretically, we could do a little bit more than that, but we need it to be manageable and able to be worked through. So that initial meeting on January 28th is going to be just that big opening session, talking about what the strategic plan had looked like up until this point, and then what we're looking at for the next 7 years, and gathering people's thoughts and ideas about where they would like to see the district go. So it'll be a big brainstorming session. Then from that, we're looking at about like a 4-hour session. So from 10 o'clock to about 2, we'll feed people in between as well. Gotta keep them happy. And at the end of that, we'll send something around to ask about folks that would like to continue being part of a smaller group who's really going to be fleshing out the actual strategic plan itself. So those are scheduled to meet on the first Thursday of the month prior to our board meetings. So it'll be like a quick turnaround for that first group to the February, I believe it's the second meeting. So yeah, that'll be a quick turnaround, but that's okay. That's okay. Keep them fresh. And then we'll just see, we've done this before, I've done it at least, this will be my 3rd time in the years that I've been here, maybe my 4th, I can't remember. And so I don't see us having any major hiccups in it. I feel like the 4 focus points that we had for the past 5 years are actually still very relevant. So I asked people to look at the current strategic plan when they were filling out the application form so that they could realize where we're at already and what we want to do for the future. So we have a good template. We just need to really look at the things that are going to be coming ahead of us in the next 7 years.
Well, I mean, we have some major space issues that we have to
Right,
address.
it's a huge one, yeah. Yeah, so we're looking forward to it, and we'll hopefully be able to pull a nice group together to have the conversations to go.
So I'm sorry, how many people did you say?
I think my hope is to get 60.
Okay,
And for the initial meeting,
That's what I thought.
and we'll take up to I think we could take up to 75.
okay.
So we'll figure out what the numbers look like. If there is a very large response and there's a lot of people that want to be here, we'll talk about that as to maybe we'll stretch this out a little bit longer. Because 4 hours would not be enough time for more than like 60 to 75 people. It's a lot, it's
Sorry.
a lot of bodies.
I just didn't hear, so. I
Yeah,
wanted to
no,
make
you're
sure.
fine.
Okay, all right.
Anything else that we can?
So I think, Kate, you asked about the strategic plan, like if we're sending it out ahead, and I believe it's in the question, in the interest questionnaire survey.
Yeah.
There's a link in there to the.
Right,
strategic
and I'll send
plan.
that link out to you guys tonight as well. And again, if you think of people that you want to forward it to, send it off, but it's already in the newsletter that went out this afternoon. So, and I checked it and it actually worked, so that was a plus.
And we want
You know?
students to
Yeah.
participate too, so anybody that got that newsletter, have them fill out if they're interested in that at all.
Yeah, it's for all. Yeah, we definitely need student voice.
Yes.
For sure.
Okay. We will move on to the superintendent update.
Okay, so, we just sent the newsletter out, this document just sent the newsletter out, so I'm just gonna highlight a few things. You had the superintendent's update a couple days ago, and I just wanted to talk a little bit about the roof. So in that storm where there were the high winds, we did have some damage to the roof here at the high school. It is a rubber roof. And different parts throughout the top are, have damage, and sandbags are holding it down. And we have worked with our insurance company, and it's gonna be fully covered. And so right now, what we're doing is we can't do the work now. So, it's an open case at the moment, and then they'll take care of that in the springtime. We're not in any jeopardy of losing class time because of that. We have a good temporary fix for it right now, but it will be replaced come the warmer weather. So I just wanted to update you on that. There wasn't any damage in the classrooms. Everybody was like, it was very well attended to very quickly. So there was minimal impact to the school, but it was quite a sight to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really was.
Any leaks? No leaks?
No leaks, yeah, amazing.
Yeah, so one of the biggest areas was right above multiple pathways, which is over on that end down there. But, and then, sporadically throughout the top of the roof. So Kevin Moore is working closely with our adjuster and Spence Matthews, Liberty Mutual, so we're all, working through some of that. So that's very good news that it's covered, of course. And let's see, so we do have our student attendance and our staff attendance, and this takes into account the week prior to being out on December break up until this week. So attendance for students ran between 91% in attendance to 98% in attendance, and that's through all of the schools. And then our staff attendance ranged from, and this is again for illness, not for personal days or conferences. So it averaged with one person out per day up to 4 per day. So looking pretty good with that. It's still early, so we'll see how that goes. I know that there was a lot of illness going around during break. We heard from, families that children were out, sick leading up. So hopefully, we come back and we're strong for a while. We'll see, knock on someone. So a quick update, in the newsletter, we updated a lot of different areas. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about athletics because we're almost at the halfway point of the season. So our unified basketball team, which are the Nighthawks, had their first practice, or they started practicing yesterday, and they had their first game on Friday, January 20th at Marshwood. And so those games rotate between Marshwood and Noble, and minimal travel within there. Our boys hockey team is 2-2, and the girls ice hockey team is in a co-op with York, and they are 5-2. The wrestling team hosted the annual Noble Invitational and finished third in team points out of 37 teams that were in attendance, and we ran 32 brackets. Let's see. Boys basketball is 3-3 and sitting in third place in heel points. Indoor track has competed in a few meets thus far. And I don't see, the esports, that's the big one.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, so our esports team won the 2022 Maine State Championship, and our Rocket League team finished in second place, 22 Maine State Champions as well. So they're signed up for another round coming up, and we'll see how that goes. So those are that update. We have been meeting with different special education teachers, and we have decided that we need to run another job fair information session for EdTechs. We're very slowly kind of building up our staffing in that area, but we still want to do another whole push for EdTechs. So we will be doing that in the next couple of weeks, and that will be held at one of the elementary schools, just because that building is Huzzy School, and they have quite a few openings still over there. So we figured we'd try it at the school level versus here, because it's really at the elementary level that we're looking right now to have positions placed. That's it. We do have a donation, but we do need to have a motion for that. So I can read that now, or we can do that under other business.
That's what we'll do.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we have a donation from Omni for $2,000 for the backpack program. And I believe that how this happens is when the employees in the company are close to losing their sick time, they have an option to donate it. So they donated their sick time. And this is how much money came forward for the backpack program. So we do need a motion and a vote for this.
I move that we accept the generous donation.
Second. All in favor? Thank you.
That's it for.
That's it for
for that.
And how about, moving on to employment
Yes.
update?
Yes, we do have employment. So I don't know if you recall, but in late September, we did have a resignation of a teacher at Hussey School, second grade. We have been advertising for that position and hired, look to hire somebody for starting next week if it is approved this evening. So Samantha Metzger is her name, and she just graduated in December from the University of New England. She's student taught at the elementary level at Kennybunk Elementary School. Very strong references coming out of her internship and had a great interview. So we're looking for that nomination and approval this evening.
I make a motion to accept Samantha Metzke for the second grade position.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Thank you.
Welcome, Samantha. Anything else for employment? Other?
I do. Okay, so.
That didn't sound good.
Well, I was thinking about this for a while and I didn't want to do it before the holidays and everything because I wanted everybody to have a chance to think out about it. So I would like to propose we bring a program or build a program here. And I don't know what the logistics are, of course. And, but the idea is for future teachers. Travis and I got to go to the career to internship program back when we were in high school. That was for any student who was accepted in the program to try out pretty much anything. The thing that I would like to propose is specific just to teachers, maybe having one main teacher kind of supervising, and then you could get maybe 2 teachers that would volunteer a semester and just help out with observations. But mainly, I actually think that whoever designed that program when we were in it did a great job as far as you got placed somewhere, you tried it for a certain amount of time, you would do write-ups about it. If you didn't like it, I mean, you had to stay a certain amount of time, but you could go somewhere else, try out something else. As far as teaching goes, what I like about this is if we have people that continue through the program, they might return here because they've enjoyed, our district. But also, if they did happen to return, maybe we could ask them to be one of the teachers that volunteers for a semester so they could kind of help out in the future. But overall, just for teacher retention, and I just like having those kind of programs. I mean, I would love actually to have the full career to internship back, but I know that's a huge thing that probably can't just be poofed. Not that the teacher one can, but I think it's maybe more attainable. So I want to throw that idea out and see what you guys thought and see.
So how would it work with a teacher though? Would they just be shadowing another teacher, the students, or what?
So
I don't have any idea what.
the way that it worked when we were in was you started off, I think it was like the first week you shadowed. And then after that, you became integrated in where you have your set block time to say, this is my teaching time. The teacher would watch you. And then you would just start doing that daily and then build up to more helping out with correcting and copying and doing all sorts of from the very base up. And that way you understand what it is to be a teacher. And by the end, at least at the site that I was in, Lebanon Elementary, and I did bounce around in a couple of places, but I really loved it and stayed there. And I was teaching the whole time I was there, pretty much on my days. So Claudia Labrie was the one who was in charge at the time. And I think Miss Delaney, who is no longer Miss Delaney, Shelley Delaney, she still works here. I don't know where her married name is. but-
Hello, LaJoy.
Yes. So she helped, I remember, and I think Mr. Edgar did for a little bit. But anyway, they had their regular jobs, and then you kind of had Miss Labrie was the one mainly in charge, and then she had the helpers.
Right.
And I know that they need to go for observations occasionally, but mainly they had sign-offs. Kind of like community service hours where you write down, I went this date, these are the things that I did, and then the person that you're going to help with signs off on it.
It's interesting because we just actually are talking with sort of a York County contingent about AmeriCorps volunteers working in the school systems with teachers and pairing them up with students as well. So that just, we were just talking about it today. So it's, I think it's a good idea. And I think it's an interesting one to sort of like grow homegrown, you know, teaching candidates, basically, for the future. I think there's some logistics involved that we'd have to figure out, but the program that you're talking about was, God, Stephanie, you're making me feel really old because, and you too, Travis. You were in high school when I was there, and I remember when Claudia ran the program, it was basically a sort of a supervised internship program.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you went off and did your thing. What did you do, Travis? Did you do the fire stuff?
No, I went to South Park PD and worked there for a couple of years.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
a group of us went to Florida and did a conference, and that was awesome.
Yeah, so I think we can talk about that again and sort of try to resurrect that. It's, we've had work study programs, we've had like the career kind of pieces of it. But I think it's a good idea.
And especially where the number of teachers are declining is
Yeah,
just
for
another
sure.
thing that even people who are saying, well, I don't know, and their teachers are looking at them saying, geez, you have all these strengths, you might be good at doing this. And then they could dip their toe in and maybe they'd realize they want to be a teacher when they never knew.
The other thing we can do is work with York County Community College because they have a program that's working with the educational technician part of things. AJ's been working with that. So yeah, these are all really, really good, innovative things. Strategic planning, my friend. No, seriously, that's exactly what it is. It's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
I think this was good timing to start something like that too, because the past year or more, there's been a lot of negative things.
Absolutely.
About what's happening to teachers, which makes people thinking of going into teaching, thinking, maybe I don't want to go there.
Yep.
And they
Yeah.
have a chance to really experience it, in a kind of a safe environment and see what it's really all about. That's good.
I agree. I think this is good.
And Shannon Swiger, the Director of Teaching and Learning, and I are going over to York County Community College. I think it's next week to talk about the partnership with EdTechs.
Yeah.
So that's, we'll inquire about.
Yeah, it all
Yeah.
is, it's all part of that. It's a great innovative way to think. Yep. Yeah. Thank you. Were you afraid we were gonna be like, no?
A little bit, because I didn't know why the original program went away. So I was just,
So much of it is really about passion and the people that are running the program. And if they move on to different, you know, career choices or whatever, or like Claudia got into administration, so things started to dwindle on and then like, so things change and you know what? Budgeting is all in there too.
I'd volunteer if you guys ever brought it back, because I'm serious, I loved it.
Yeah.
And I knew I wanted to be a teacher, but it helped me to figure out which grade level.
Yeah.
But other people who thought that they wanted to do something suddenly were like, oh my gosh, I hate this.
Yeah.
And if you went to college and then figured that out, that would suck.
It's an expensive entry, yeah, so totally get that. That's great. Yeah.
So Kate, I think you asked if there would be like stipends for mentor teachers. We would certainly, you know, look at all of those pieces for increased responsibility.
Yeah.
Any more other?
Different other, just to highlight upon the awesome newsletter, thank you, and everything going on at Mary Herd School with the cereal stuff, and I won't do the PTO report this week, I'll do that next time, but helping bring the boxes in and seeing the closet and seeing the backpack program pantry and food pantry and everything, it was really cool, and the ladies there definitely appreciated I was there for PTO, but someone introduced me as board member too, and they're like, no, we'd love to see board members here and like have them see what it's all about and everything, and so they were just excited to see representation there and definitely encourage others to go and stop by and see what it's all about and what it looks like. So it's nice pictures.
I would love to do a board meeting at Mary Hart.
Yeah.
Because the other thing is the yurt's there, so we could do that, plus we've moved the Tri-Town Bookmobile. It's kind of it's not very mobile anymore, so we're turning it into another project between the Mary Hart kids and the Flex program, so that they're learning about like library Sharon Taylor's going down and teaching them all about the library kind of stuff, with the bus stuff. So we could do a night there. That would be fun. It'll be fun.
Yeah, I've never been, and then Dunlock, I was there like 2 days later with the kids Christmas caroling.
Yeah.
And I didn't know, like, they get a gym, I had never been in that building at all, so like, to see they had a whole gym there and like different things, so.
Yeah. I'm a little proud of that.
Any more other?
I had one other, it did not make it on the agenda, but we, in the email I think I sent out, I said that we would have an executive session just to talk about, the evaluation of the superintendent. So it didn't make it on the agenda, so I don't want to hold everybody. Did it?
Yeah, it is. It's there.
It doesn't say it on this.
What's on there?
Wait,
Okay. All right, never mind.
so,
Thank you. That was easy.
okay. And public input, we still have no one else in the audience.
Public, are you out there?
Except for, no,
Well, you're fine.
sorry, I didn't mean to spot you, but, so, sure, no.
Well, we have to make a motion to go in. I make a motion that we go into executive session, INRSA 4056A, evaluation of employee.
Oh, second.
All in favor?
So we're going into executive session. No other regular business will occur after the